Welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are taking a look at Mortal Kombat Special Forces that was released around the year 2001 on the PlayStation. This is actually more of a spin-off game in the Mortal Kombat universe where you play as one of the characters, Jax, a military operative that actually has bionic arm enhancements. You probably would have seen it if you played any of the fighting games. So you actually play his story, and pretty much the primary goal of the story is to literally get through the levels while you're also trying to figure out where the main enemy of the game, Kano, which is also another character in the Mortal Kombat games as well. He's freed a load of enemies from a prison, and it's your task pretty much to try and wrap them all up and try and take them in, or take them out of the equation altogether, while also trying to find and confront Kano throughout the course of the game. So I remember actually when I did actually buy this game, and I was interested to actually play it because again I'm a big fan of the Mortal Kombat franchise. They are difficult games to play, I will admit, in terms of the way they play, because especially the older games, they are difficult. The fighting mechanics and that they are good, but they are quite difficult. So it was interesting to see how this would actually play out. Now this here, the combat mechanics are actually really good. The collision detection is actually quite good. It does take a bit of a while to get used to, say, the combat and the combos and the button combinations and so forth. But when you get used to it, it's actually a decent game. It's not perfect, so it's not like it does have its own kind of issues, but it was unique for its time. There was a few games like this kind of like out there, but there wasn't too many like this where you were actually walking around being able to beat the hell out of people. A lot of these type of games were more like run and gun kind of shooting games, so this was actually quite different for its time. It took a bit of getting used to, but when you got the hang of it, it was actually a decent game. It was relatively short from what I remember. The campaign, once you mastered it, you could actually get through the game fairly quickly. But it was definitely worth the playthrough, and it was definitely an interesting take on a different aspect of the Mortal Kombat universe that told a different side story. So it was interesting. I have to say now, I enjoyed it now. When I played it back in the day, I actually thought it was really good. It can be a bit awkward to get used to, especially when you're playing starting out. Like you can see here, the graphics, it is very dark and like gritty, kind of almost in how it looks. When you're starting out, you will need to turn the brightness up on your TV or in the game at all if you actually can, because it's the only way that you can really see what's going on. Because if you happen to have any sort of light coming into the room, it can be very, very difficult to see the screen and to see where you're actually going. So you need to adjust those settings so that you'll be able to play the game pretty much without much hassle, if you will. But it's definitely, like I said, a good take on the franchise and a decent spin-off, if it is relatively short. And I would recommend, if you're into these type of beat-em-ups and even into the Mortal Kombat franchise at all, I would highly recommend that you actually give it a look into and see what you think of it as well, and just to kind of give your take on what you think this game is like and see if you actually enjoy it. Now, like I said, it is relatively short in terms of the campaign length, but it is fun. It's definitely an enjoyable game, and it does offer a decent enough challenge, but you can get through it fairly quickly once you know what you're doing. So as you go through the levels in the game, again, you can go into different environments and areas, and you'll have your own different versions of enemies to take out and to beat up pretty much. But you also have to complete, like, say, different kind of objectives as well for each level, like say defeat X amount of enemies and literally find out where to go next. So you'll have to go around looking for like flicking switches and key cards and so forth. So you need to be aware of that. So in order to get into one area, as you can see here, the door's locked, so you'll actually have to go and find a key or find some way of opening that door. So again, you'll find that out through natural progression of the game. The more you play into it, the more you get involved with the levels, you'll be able to figure it out as you go along. It's not too overly complicated to get into. The one kind of major gripe is with the camera. even though it is simple enough to pick up and play, but sometimes the camera can actually be a hindrance and can actually get in your way, and sometimes it glitches out and it kind of leaves you kind of lost as to know where you actually are at a certain point on the screen at a given time, and that can sometimes hamper you when you're trying to, especially when you're fighting a lot of enemies, so that can actually get in your way at times. But that's my only real major gripe with the game. But as you're playing through it, you will also unlock like different levels, so you'll be able to gain access to other types of weapons, even like shooting types of weapons like machine gun like I previously got there, and different types of elements and so forth. Plus you will also unlock different combat abilities and even combos as well, so you can connect different button combinations all together so that you can actually do a lot more damage to enemies and actually take them out of the equation a lot quicker if you're able to perform it correctly. Very similar to the likes of the combo systems within the Mortal Kombat games themselves. If you played like Mortal Kombat 3, 4 trilogy, or even more the recent ones, you'd understand what I mean. Like, you get prompts on the screen to let you know what type of combination that you're actually going for as well. So at least it makes it fairly straightforward for you to understand what it is that you're actually trying to do. So if you haven't actually played Mortal Kombat Special Forces and you are looking for something a little bit different, and if you do like the franchise in general and want to see a different take on it, I definitely would recommend actually you giving this game a go if you haven't done so already. Or even if you have, definitely go and revisit it and see what you think of it and just replay those old memories. Because it is a decent game. Not the best game in the world, but it is actually a decent game. It's a good fun game to play. So I would highly recommend that you revisit it and give it a go. So what are your thoughts on Mortal Kombat Special Forces? Did you play it back in the day? Did you own it? And if so, did you enjoy it? What did you actually think of it? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below and share your thoughts. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Also subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated when I release future videos, as I will be replaying old classic games and also playing other games I never got to play on the PlayStation back in the day, and sharing my thoughts and memories with all of you. Plus it also helps to increase engagement on the channel, and it does help me with creating more videos and so forth. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them. And make sure to keep those gaming memories alive.